Hello and welcome back to a new video. Before we start into today's gameplay, I want to quickly address the aircraft of today's video, and that is the Heinkel AG219A7 Night Fighter. And words cannot describe how much I adore this aircraft in a historic context. Historically speaking, this is one of my all-time favorite aircraft. It has such an interesting history behind it. It's a history of spite, of infighting between the RLM, about an aircraft that was actually pretty advanced for its time, but was hampered by all the infighting that was happening in the Reichsluftfahrtministerium, which is something I might address in a future video. In any case, I love the Heinkel 219, and here in War Thunder, the Heinkel 219 is a premium, or it was, because it was removed a few days ago. They offered it on a 50% discount. I had some golden eagles to spare and thought, you know what, I just buy it. And so far, I haven't regretted. It's a very specialized aircraft. It's an aircraft that doesn't have a role in War Thunder at the moment, at least not the role it was intended to be flown at, because right now this thing is classified as a ground attack aircraft, and that's purely because you get access to the 30mm Mk103 and its HVAP rounds. Otherwise, this thing is completely useless in the ground attack role, because it was never designed to be a ground attacker. It was designed to shoot down bombers, which is something the aircraft is able to do pretty well in ARB, but unfortunately it needs to operate at daytime, which this thing was, again, not designed to do. You can see these large antler antennas. This thing was a dedicated night fighter, which is a role we don't really have in War Thunder right now, which is something I am gonna address in my next video, which is already in the planning stages, so look forward to that, because I have found a solution how Gaijin could implement night fighters in War Thunder in their proper role. But in any case, yeah, you don't see the Heinkel 219 in ARB that often, at least not in the air-to-air role. But I bought this thing purely as a bomber interceptor. I wanted to use this thing as an air-to-air weapons platform, and boy, this thing, once you get around mastering it, this thing can deliver. Would I recommend it if it ever comes up on sale again? Funnily enough, no, because actually there are better options available in the German tech tree, even in the premium one, because they also get the TAR 154A1, which is at the current meta when it comes to the 4.3 VR, the better aircraft. It climbs better, it's much more maneuverable because it is lighter, and more responsive, while still having a pretty heavy armament. You also get the ME410s, which are also more maneuverable, and have dive brakes and rearwards facing armament, which is something the Heinkel 219 doesn't get. So there are better options available, but still, this thing, under the right circumstances, can carry whole games, as we're gonna see right now. Let's jump into today's game. So, and here we are with the Heinkel 219, and once again, look at this thing. Isn't it beautiful? This is such a good looking aircraft. I mean, hot damn. And anyways, thankfully this thing gets an air spawn, and we are just climbing right now. This thing is powered by two Daimler-Benz DB603 engines, the largest German V12 in terms of displacement. It's a very powerful engine, 1750 horsepower standard. It gets two of these, so these engines do have a lot of grunt. However, the Heinkel 219 is a pretty heavy aircraft. You can see it's a big machine. It has lots of fuel, lots of armament, so it's not the lightest. And what you want to do in the air-to-air role with the Heinkel 219? is use this thing as a bomber interceptor first and foremost. This is what it was designed for. This is what it does best. We are distancing ourselves from the enemy fighters, and the enemy team does have 3 bombers all above us. Unfortunately, despite this aircraft having 2 pretty powerful engines, because of its weight, it is not the best climbing. So it takes time getting to altitude. I would recommend to side climb before you engage anything. I'm targeting that one B-25. The controls of this aircraft are actually pretty solid for such a big and heavy aircraft. You do feel the weight behind it, so to speak, but it still reacts rather beautifully actually. Now again, we are looking around, keeping an eye on enemy single engine fighters, and that B-25 is looking pretty juicy. He doesn't seem to notice us. He's firing at our teammate there, and we are selecting the 30mm MK103s because these have the highest muzzle velocity, and you can snipe with them rather reliably. Unfortunately, I missed my shot. Again, check my 6. That's a P-47 being engaged. And now I'm diving right into the fray. One thing about this aircraft, it is very, very good in a dive. That Bearcat is getting very close, so we are trying to throw off his aim. He gets one into me, nothing serious though, only hits the engine nacelle. And now we are gone. Again, keep throwing off the Bearcat's aim. But we built up so much energy in that dive, we were easily pulling away from him. Plenty of other enemy fighters behind us, so we are gonna distance ourselves a little bit before re-engaging. With the Heinkel 219, altitude and situational awareness is key. If you're not careful enough, you are gonna die with this aircraft. This is true for any aircraft, but particularly twin-engined heavy fighters, they need to be even more careful because they usually cannot compete in terms of maneuverability. Long-range engagement, head-on against D0, we easily knock him out of the sky. This thing has some of the heaviest firepower at its BR. Try to get shot on the backhead, and we do get him. That is kill number 2. Again, check our 6, keep an eye on that key 43, and we're converting the build-up speed back into altitude. Again, if you want to be successful with this aircraft, you need to learn 2 things. Altitude is key, and you need to carefully evaluate which aircraft you are gonna engage. Otherwise, this thing will die a very quick death. We target that key 43, he seems to be occupied with that BF-109, so we are trying to go in for an easy shot. Acceleration of this aircraft in a straight line, of course, is not the best. But once you put her in a shallow dive, it builds up speed very quickly. And again, try to get into favorable position, snap around, and there it is. Another clutch shot, which gives us the severe damage, so no matter who's finishing off, we get the credit for the kill. And just look how you can throw this thing around. Despite its size, it is a very, very stable gun platform. You look at the aircraft design, the slab-sided fuselage. This gives this aircraft extra stability at high speeds. Try to get the drop on that key 100. Come on, there it is. Another kill, another enemy fighter taken off the enemy's roster. And for the moment, we are alone. We have 4 kills so far, only 1 kill away from ace status, and we are leading this team. There's the P-47, he's below us, so we can dictate the terms of this engagement. There's also the enemy 0, and there are 2 B-25s rearming on the enemy airfield. Now I want to take out that P-47 first. He's the closest target. He seems to be rather slow. And he's also occupied with another aircraft in our team, and we easily get the drop on him and get like another kill. We have now 5 kills. This is an ace in one flight so far. Plenty more where that came from. You're not gonna believe the results of this match. Now that Zero can't get us. There's the P-47, which is at roughly the same altitude as we are. So we need to be very careful. I want to put some distance between him and me, because I don't have the altitude advantage. And in this kind of scenario, the P-47 has basically every advantage. He's more maneuverable. The P-47 is also very, very good in the dive. And I'm at an altitude where I can't dive away from him. And then the G5N makes its appearance. And he's trying to dogfight me, or to kill me with his gunners. I see the P-47 has broken off, which means I can now re-engage and target that G5N. Quickly loop around. Yeah, from this angle he has a very hard time hitting me with his defensive gunners. And he's trying to evade, but with a G5N, such a big and heavy aircraft, even heavier than the Heinkel 219, there's no way he's gonna get away from me. And I quickly get my 6th kill, and then the P-38 appears. Don't know what he's doing. He seems to be returning back to base from whatever he did earlier. Something was attacking our base a few moments ago, so did he drop some bombs? I don't know. The P-38, well, it is what it is. Any case, he's very slow. I do still have plenty of ammunition left. Carefully line up the shot. Come on. Set him on fire, and there it is. Kill number 7. This is a turkey shoot. And would you look at that, I still have plenty of 20mm ammunition remaining. And yeah, who said this thing couldn't dogfight? There are some I do watch some other War Thunder YouTubers, just here and then. And whenever they mention this aircraft, they say, oh, this is a ground attacker. This thing can't dogfight. Don't buy it. Don't use it in ARB. But apparently, they simply don't know how to fly this thing, because if you do it right, it can be a very rewarding aircraft. There are better heavy fighters at this BR in the German tech tree. But if once you mastered this aircraft, it really is... it can actually be rather fun to fly. We're targeting that B-25. Some quick shots. Critical. There's the heavy damage. I can't believe this. We are now on 8 kills. This is only the 3rd time I've gotten 8 kills. And what do you think are the odds we're gonna break that record today? We are going for 9. In the Heinkel HE-219. An aircraft that so far doesn't really have, isn't able to basically function in its intended role as a night fighter. We're gonna playing this thing completely outside of its mission profile as a daytime interceptor, and we're getting away with it. Now, granted, you're not gonna get this situation every time. But you can get if you're any good, you can get 1, 2, or even 3 kills per match. But it also heavily depends on the team. If your team dies within the first minutes, you can basically just fly back to base, land, exit the aircraft, and don't bother, because against a full enemy team of single engine fighters, this thing just cannot compete on its own. This thing excels at the bomber interceptor role, and then you should go after fighters if the opportunity presents itself. In any case, that P-47 is a big problem. So we are gonna circle the airfield to get some altitude, because in order to engage him, we absolutely need the altitude advantage. which will take some time because again this is not the best climbing aircraft. But thankfully this match is dragging on a little bit, and here the large fuel capacity of the Heinkel 219 comes into play quite favorably actually. And in case you're wondering what that comment was about with me being Werner Streib reincarnate, for those who don't know, Werner Streib was the pilot who first flew the Heinkel 219 into battle flying an A0 model, and in its first combat mission the Heinkel 219 downed 5 British bombers in a single night, making Werner Streib's an ace in the day. But unfortunately he crashed his 219 on landing, although he and his co-pilot both escaped with little injury. However, the aircraft was a total loss. But anyways, this is was quite the combat debut for an aircraft that was pretty controversial within the Reichsluftfahrtministerium, which will be a subject for a future video. It is something I really want to cover because the infighting between Josef Kamhuber, Chief Inspector of the Night Fighters, and Erhard Milch, it really was a shit show, particularly from Milch's side. If it wouldn't have been for Erhard Milch, there would have been far more Heinkel 219s built than there were, because there were only roughly 300 of these beautiful machines built. Because Milch, he hated the Heinkel 219 for whatever reason with a passion, and he tried to have it terminated any chance he got, which is well, the British bomber crews can be thankful for that, because otherwise, if this thing had been available in larger numbers, it could have actually made quite an impact, because it was a very, very advanced aircraft for its time. This was the first production aircraft that had ejection seats, funnily enough. It also had all its weapons placed in a position where it wouldn't blind the pilot while firing, which is something many other night fighters didn't have. They had their guns in the nose, where the muzzle flash would blind the pilot. It was also very sleek. Had 2 powerful engines, had tricycle nose gear. So yeah. But back to the battle. The P-47 has killed 109, but has crashed in the process. So which only leaves that A6M5. Yeah, we're gonna go for him. We do have the altitude and speed advantage, so if things go pear-shaped, we should have enough speed and energy to quickly get away from that zero. We still do have over 200 rounds of 20mm ammunition. He has clearly seen us, and he is trying to evade, but not today, son. And there it is. There it is. 9 kills. A new personal record, and in an aircraft that you certainly would not expect to get this sort of result. 9 kills with the Heinkel HE219. Hell yeah, look at these results. This is without a premium account, but over 5,000 mission points. Look at that. I mean, this is something you certainly don't see every day. 15,900 modification points. Look at that. I mean, this has to be the record for most air-to-air kills in ARB with the Heinkel 219, right? I haven't seen anyone getting more kills with this thing. I carried this team. Only 3 other guys got any kills in that on my side of the team. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, that's it for today. And I hope I'll see you in my next video. See ya!